A surf-themed resort minutes away from the Universal theme parks with aggressively low pricing, Universal's Endless Summer Surfside Inn and Suites has put the entire market of Orlando Valley resorts on notice. Not only is it close to the parks, you've also got access to a variety of shops and restaurants on International Drive, even if such access has blatantly been made as inconvenient as possible. Hi, I'm the Frugal Brit. My mission is to review every hotel resort near Disney World and Orlando, and for this video I'm back on International Drive to provide a breakdown of the good and the not so good things about Universal's Endless Summer Resort Surfside Inn and Suites. And at the end I've looked to provide some hopefully useful tips to help in getting the best out of any vacation here. But before we get into that, I'll outline the key features of this popular resort. And don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in future Orlando vacation content. This resort, which has two separate towers connected by its lobby area, sits on the old Wet n Wild site at the top of the crossover of International Drive and Universal Boulevard, opposite Endless Summer Dockside Inn. Just to clarify, despite having the Universal name, this isn't an on-site resort given its placement on International Drive, but it's pretty close, only a 5-minute drive away. And Universal will take care of this drive for you with its complimentary shuttle buses to both City Walk and to Volcano Bay Water Park. So heading into the lobby, you'll notice the surf and beach theming with a Starbucks opposite the check-in desk, which is open first thing in the morning and crucially before you'll be heading out for early park admission. Moving towards Tower 1, you have the Universal Orlando store where you can grab merchandise and a few things that you may have left at home. Moving back into the lobby and over to Tower 2, you have the Beach Break Cafe food court, serving Southern Californian ingredients at a reasonable price. Heading north in Tower 2, you'll arrive at the modest but modern arcade room. Carrying on in this direction, you'll arrive at the well-equipped fitness centre. And lastly in Tower 2, you have the guest laundry facilities. Let's now take a look at the different room options at Surfside Inn and Suites. So your standard rooms provide 2 queen-sized beds, a 43-inch modern smart TV, complimentary Wi-Fi, a mini refrigerator, an iron and ironing board, an in-room safe, and a wall-mounted hairdryer. The 2-bedroom suites provide the same, but they also contain 2 bedrooms, sort of, separate bath and vanity areas, a kitchenette area, picnic table, a microwave, and a coffee maker. So with pricing, you can expect to pay around $100 to $120 off-season for a standard room, but many families go for the 2-bedroom suite option, which costs between $180 and $180. Obviously, if you're staying in the summer months, expect to pay a bit more. There's no resort fee, but if you are bringing a car with you, you'll need to factor in the $14 plus tax per night parking fee. This resort has a huge fish-shaped pool, or surf-shaped depending on your perspective, and you can quench your thirst at poolside at the sandbar with cocktails, frozen drinks, smoothies, beer and wine. At the back of the pool area you have pleasant views of the huge lake that used to contain a few of the Wet n Wild attractions. Lastly, I should highlight that one of the key benefits of staying at this resort is that you'll get early park admission to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and Universal's Volcano Bay 1 hour before the parks open, assuming you have your tickets purchased. To start this section, I'm going to say that when looking for a value hotel resort in Orlando, you want somewhere that's clean, has convenient transport to the parks, nearby restaurants, and under or around $100 a night with no resort fee. But generally, you're looking to get 3 of these, to be honest. But you get all 5 with Surfside Inn and Suites, in addition to early park admission, so it really is a super impressive package when you break it down like that. So much so that I do believe it has forced Disney to reconsider the pricing of its own value resort offerings. The bright and colourful summer surfing aesthetic impresses throughout this resort and destroys all competition in this price range. And it's great that the Universal store has plenty of exclusive merchandise for Endless Summer. And the branded toiletries are a nice touch in your rooms. Given how new it is, the hotel in its current state is immaculate. Hopefully this can be maintained, but this will obviously become more difficult over time. Those who have stayed at the Disney World Value and Moderate resorts will likely be familiar with the long walks through the hotel grounds to get to the lobby, due to the motel-style layout. But you don't get this at Surfside Inn and Suites, as the rooms are all accessed internally. It'll take 5 minutes tops to get to the pool, lobby, or the bus stops. Having done some analysis of TripAdvisor, I found the reviews of staff attitude and friendliness to be encouraging, with no recurring themes to be concerned with at all. The rooms at Surfside are similar in quality to those at Cabana Bay, especially in terms of size. For those of you that don't know, Cabana Bay is a slightly more expensive resort from Universal, which is next door to Volcano Bay. It's fair to say that these rooms at Surfside are much cooler than the alternatives at this price. That's including your other options on International Drive and Walt Disney World. The rooms are well equipped with the modern essentials such as 43-inch smart TV, USB ports, including future-proof USB-C ports. In my opinion, possibly the best thing about this resort is its shuttle bus transportation to City Walk and Volcano Bay, which is incredibly efficient. This will take between 7 and 10 minutes, and these are super frequent, so you really don't need to wait long. And there's certainly no need to panic if you see a bus pulling out. As the resort is not that far away from the parks, it is walkable, but even as someone that always prefers to walk, even if it takes longer, I really don't think it's worthwhile here due to the efficiency and convenience of these shuttles. Of course, this transportation should not discourage you from walking onto International Drive, and in particular the Walgreens store, which many guests do take advantage of. The main selling point of being on International Drive is the restaurants and minor attractions available. Whilst Surfside is quite far north on iDrive, if you're happy for a longish walk, there are some great dining options available to you. The last thing to talk about for this section is the pool area, which helpfully provides towels upon entrance, plentiful beach chairs, and life jackets available at no extra cost. One really nice feature here is the underwater speakers in the pool. I should mention the sandbar for offering slightly better value than you would typically expect from a pool bar. So, location. I absolutely love the location of this resort, but there were some guests who had booked this Universal resort expecting to be at Universal, not near Universal, and not everyone is a fan of International Drive. The hotel itself certainly isn't a fan of International Drive and tries to pretend that it isn't actually there, with its deliberately awkward entrance and fencing separating you from the sidewalk, which probably has nothing at all to do with the fact that iDrive provides guests with more options on how to spend their vacation money. Can't really blame them given the ultra-competitive room rates, but you also can't blame those giving less than favourable reviews online because of this awkwardness. There is a less than ideal shortcut to iDrive and the Walgreens across the street, which I'll cover in the tips section, but ultimately this is a not so good thing about Surfside Inn and Suites. The main focus with the food at Surfside Inn and Suites is value. So they've priced things $12 and under, which is great, but there have been those that feel the standard of food wasn't quite up to scratch. Food can be left out for longer than you'd like, which often won't be at the temperature you'd want. People are not picking this resort for the quality of the food at the food court, and I would discourage anyone from doing so. Having said that, the pizza is very decent and the delivery service to your room is super convenient and a much appreciated inclusion. The rooms are quite spacious for the price, but they are seriously lacking in storage space. The themed furniture is cute, but it's just decorative, like boxes and chests that don't open to store anything, and the wardrobes and 3 drawers provided won't fit everyone's stuff, to say the least. If you're at capacity in your room, be prepared to keep clothes in your suitcase. With the 2-bedroom suites, many people felt shortchanged given how this is advertised, because it really doesn't feel like 2 separate bedrooms, to be honest. More like 1 bedroom and 2 other beds in the shared area of the suite. Based on my TripAdvisor analysis, it seems that noise is a fairly big problem at this resort. What doesn't help is the laminate floors, so you'll hear a lot from the room above you. It really is luck of the draw. I didn't have many issues with this, but I would concur that the walls are quite thin. Almost as thin as the towels provided in your rooms, which were not comfortable, but really not something to die in a ditch over. Those staying in the standard rooms won't benefit from having a coffee maker or a microwave, which is a bit of a bummer if you're on a budget, which many of you iDrive veterans may have come to expect at this price point. Last thing I want to cover with the rooms is the low tide, high tide room service gimmick. If you're staying for less than 7 nights, your room won't be given a full clean, only a light refresh, so they'll make your beds, take out the trash, replace the soap, etc. I'll be honest, I love this. I often find I don't need a full room clean every day. I often use the Do Not Disturb, and I think this will have helped keep the room rates down. And ultimately, I appreciate the transparency because, let's be honest, lots of the other resorts operate in this way off the record, cough cough Disney. So for me, it's great that they've been open about it. Moving on to the swimming pool at Surfside Inn and Suites. So it's only 3 foot deep, so maybe not the best choice for teenagers, and I would say when compared to what you get at Cabana Bay, as well as some of the other pool area amenities, the low cost of this resort may finally start to make a bit of sense. And unlike Cabana Bay, you're not able to do pool hopping at some of the deluxe on-site resorts, such as the Royal Pacific and the Hard Rock at Universal. For balance, I will say the pool area is on par with the all-star value resorts in Disney World. I'll finish this section with some minor nitpicking. So the $14 parking charge is annoying, but less than Cabana Bay and can be forgiven in absence of a resort fee. The hotel grounds are not the most interesting, given that the rooms are internally accessed, so don't expect beautifully landscaped gardens like at the moderate Disney World resorts. Also, another downside to internally accessed rooms is that you'll have to wait around for elevators to arrive. Before I get onto my tips for staying at Surfside Inn and Suites, I'm just going to summarise very briefly. So I think when this resort first opened in 2019, it got a bit of heat from people who saw the Universal name and didn't have appropriate expectations for a value resort, in my opinion. Yes, it can be noisy and the access to iDrive is annoying, but overall it provides unparalleled value at this price point with the early admission and efficient bus transportation. It doesn't make the other value hotel options on iDrive irrelevant by any means. You'll save a lot more money at the value Rosen hotels and the Avanti resorts closer to all the iDrive action. But Surfside Inn and Suites has justifiably become one of, if not the most popular resort options in Orlando. I want to end by saying that if Universal were to significantly increase the price of this resort, that would undermine pretty much every single thing I've said in this review. So the easiest way to access International Drive is through the parking lot. It's not ideal walking through here, but a lot quicker than heading out to Universal Boulevard. There is an access gate just outside the lobby, but it's locked. Yeah. There aren't any obviously bad choices with room selection. It really depends on what you're looking for. In my opinion though, getting a room on the 9th floor of either tower is a smart way to counter the most common complaint about this resort, that being the noise. The reason for this is that there won't be anyone walking above you on those laminate floors, and also you'll hear less noise around the pool area when you're this high up. The trade-off with the top floor though is you'll be waiting longer for the elevators. Some people prefer a poolside view, which costs extra, but there are some that felt it was noisier around these sides of the towers, especially on the weekend when they play music until fairly late. If you won't be staying next to someone you know, I would suggest asking reception that you don't want a room with connecting doors, as noise does travel more so between these rooms. If you want the quickest access to the Walgreens and International Drive, Tower 2 is your best choice. But if you prefer to be near the shuttle buses pick up and drop off, then I would request a room in Tower 1. As mentioned, it is $14 per day plus tax to park at this resort, but I have been well informed that if you're staying for over a week and if you're polite, you may be able to negotiate a reduced parking rate. Good luck to anyone who gives this a try, and please let me know how you get on. For anyone getting an Uber or a Lyft, I would recommend arranging for it to pick you up outside the lobby and not at the ride-sharing pickup, which has been known to cause confusion. If you're headed out to Volcano Bay, don't forget that you can take a towel from the pool at Surfside and drop it off when you return. Speaking of dropping off, if you do want to order anything within the Universal parks, you can ask staff to send it back to you so you don't have to carry it around all day. my last tip is to check out the Facebook group named Universal Endless Summer Fans, which is a great community providing lots of advice and tips, and several members have selflessly offered to give away stuff on their last day, like groceries and kettles, etc. So definitely worth checking this out. Well, that's it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. If you're headed to this resort, I hope you have the most amazing vacation. I'm sure you will. You may want to check out some of my other International Drive videos, and if you're interested in future Orlando vacation content, click here to subscribe.